How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Well, it is Monday here on this program, and we got a lot to talk about here today. Wait, it's Tuesday. Golly. It's Tuesday here on this program. I guess we got to talk about Raw. I know you're all very excited about that. We're going to do the Raw report here today and a lot more, as we will also be joined in the final segment of the show today by Rocky Romero. Rocky Romero returns to the show, and we're going to talk about the upcoming New Japan shows and plenty more. So it's a very, very busy show here today. We got Rocky, we got all of the news. That, of course, includes the Raw report from the other night. We've got lineups for NXT, Dynamite, the Crown Jewel show. I know you're all excited for Crown Jewel. The Battle Autumn in Osaka, where Carl Anderson is still being listed as defending the Never Openweight title. But I'm not quite sure that's going to happen. We got SmackDown, we got Rampage, and plenty more. So a lot to get into here today. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. And, of course, Bryan at WrestlingObserver.com, at Bryan Alvarez on Twitter. And for those of you unaware, indeed, the Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave Meltzer last night, it did, in fact, go off without a hitch. Well, there was a minor hitch at the beginning. Apparently, YouTube switched up some buttons, and so it didn't stream live for a couple of minutes. But we recorded the entire thing. We went live. It all worked out great. So if you would like to see Wrestling Observer Radio as part of your YouTube subscription, I'm going to tell you how after the break very quickly. Back in a moment, Observer Live. There we go. I had the thing all screwed up. How's it going, everybody? And now my light is on. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing pretty good, boss man. How about you?
I literally feel like the beginning of the Dave show last night. Look
I heard you had no problems at all with the Dave Show.
Hey,
last night.
why don't you talk about something here for like 30 seconds so I can fix this?
Sure. You know what? I'll do that. While you go ahead and fix whatever it is that you're fixing, I can tell everybody out there that even though they had very minor problems last night / early this morning, filming with Dave Meltzer live for Wrestling Observer Radio, really, if you paid your $9.99 and you are a top-tier subscriber to YouTube, you really had no problems at all. Just a little minor glitch at the very beginning of the whole thing. But you know what? If you're a subscriber of the site and listen via podcast, you wouldn't know about any of those problems at all.
All right, we're back. I got it all fixed, everybody. Hey, just a quick plug because we got a lot to get into here today. But yeah, it went off without a hitch last night. And we have to make a change. We have to make a change just to make life easy for everybody. It's no longer top tier. It's
really?
F4W Live.
Oh, okay.
All right. You're an F4W Live subscriber, and that's what you're looking to do if you sign up. So, as noted, it is now official. The F4W Live tier on YouTube, the $9.99 tier. It is myself and Dave, Wrestling Observer Radio, 3 days a week, sometimes more, by the way, but minimum
Really?
3 times a week.
Wow.
Observer Live, Brian and Vinny's show, Figure Four Daily, Filthy Four Daily. We're going to have a show with Lance coming up here at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern. So, yeah, it all worked, and everything is good to go. So, if you want to sign up, what are you waiting for? We got a lot of great stuff up there. And if you're on the $7.99 tier, and nothing has changed, you still don't get Dave, you still only get the replays, but that is a legacy tier, and its days are numbered. So I'm going to move on, but if you want more, just go to WrestlingObserver.com, or I tweeted it. On the front page, there's an explanation of how to do everything, how to sign up, how to switch if you're at $7.99 to $9.99, what you get, the whole shebang. So do it, everybody.
Know when these
Don't
bonus
miss out.
Dave shows are going to come.
Dude, we've had many. Dude, last week we went Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If there's a pay-per-view, sometimes we do Saturday. The Garrett shows are going to be up with Dave. We can now do live Q&As with Dave as well instead of the traditional mailbag. So if you're watching live, you can enjoy that. And somebody here noted, well, I'm not up that late. Well, who cares? Watch the replay the next day. The replay's up like an hour later. You can wake up in the morning and watch the video. It's not like if you don't watch it live, you don't see it. You get live, taped, archives, the whole 9 yards. So
yeah, but that, somebody personally feels offended now that you are charging them for live, even though they don't have the chance to see live.
You don't need to see live. You can watch the replay. It's just like Peacock, just with much less financial whatever behind it. All right, we got a lot of shows coming up. We'll get into Raw here in the second segment. NXT is tonight. We have Pretty Deadly against Edris Enofe and Malik Blade for the tag team titles. We have the women's titles, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons. Lash Legend will be facing Shotzi. The new Schism member will be revealed. Boy, I cannot wait for that one. Holy smokes, I can't wait. And that's it. Fallout from Halloween Havoc. That's what we got for tonight. For the Dynamite show Wednesday, Jon Moxley defends the AEW title against Penta. For those of you that are like, what? When? Why? Bro, your guess is as good as mine. They did not announce it on Rampage, so if you missed Rampage, you did not miss the announcement. It's just happening. I guess they announced it, but they didn't shoot an angle or anything like that. It's a title match. Tomorrow, Penta and Moxley. So there you go. FTR will be facing Swerve in Our Glory for the number 1 contendership to the AEW Tag Team titles. Riho faces Jamie Hayter. Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Bryan Danielson faces Sammy Guevara, and MJF will be doing a promo. That is Wednesday's Dynamite. And the Battle Autumn in Osaka is interesting because that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. And it lists Carl Anderson and Hikuleo for the Never Openweight title, even though Carl Anderson is not going to be there. And Obari says, you should be there. Well, he's not going to be there. So that's going to be weird. But also announced for the show is FTR. FTR has been announced for that show. And FTR is also going to be defending the AAA titles in December. So I wonder what all of this means. Honestly, to me, this FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory match is actually the most interesting match over the next couple of days because I can't figure out how to make any of this work. Because if Keith Lee and Swerve win, then we will have Keith Lee and Swerve versus the Acclaimed 3 times in the span of a couple of months. And the exact same match on 2 consecutive pay-per-views, which I don't think has ever happened in AEW. And if FTR wins, then you have 2 options, which is beat the Acclaimed, which seems like a horrible idea right now, or the Acclaimed beat FTR in this AEW Tag Team title match, which I guess could happen. I mean, there's no reason it couldn't happen, but, if FTR wins, they're also going on. I don't know. It's just, I don't know what's going on here. Who do you think is going to win this match, and what are they doing?
Well, I think it's going to be the Acclaimed.
Were you paying attention to anything that I said?
No, not really at all. Not really at all.
What are you doing, dude? You're worse than Vinny.
Just, you get to talking, and it's really easy to tune you out, to be honest.
Wow, what a great co-host.
Especially when you're going in 3 different directions. Oh, now
I'm not going in 3 different directions. I gave options for FTR and whatever here, Swerve, and all the different ways they could go.
Now we're co-hosts. Usually you talk down to us and treat us like sidekicks, and now all of a sudden you need a little bit of help, and now
I don't need help. I was giving you an option to give your opinion, and you weren't paying attention. Fine, forget it. I'll keep going.
The whole thing when it comes to FTR at some point is going to have all the belts. At some point, FTR is going to defeat the Acclaim. The Acclaim don't necessarily need the belts. They are a hot act right now. You have to be careful with that. But the bottom line is when FTR comes out, they get monster responses. And they should have had those belts, in my opinion, long before now. They have all of the other titles. They're the ones traveling to Japan. This doesn't make any sense for them not to have them. So I don't get that at all. I don't understand how they come to the conclusion to make some of these matches. This is like making Pentagon and Moxley. Not that I don't want to see that match. That match is awesome on paper, except for why is it a title match? Why is MJF not figured in, somehow upset about this, or somehow happy and going like this over the fact that Moxley's going to try to kill himself again before he faces Pentagon? It's like they had a match that they just decided, okay, well, we're in a little bit of trouble right now. There's all this sports going on. We're not really hot. We have all this other nonsense. We're going to have a title match. But you had a title match coming up. I don't know. I don't get it. I've never, with FTR and how they've been used, I have not understood it at all. Them and Wardlow, frankly, for that matter. Another guy holding on to a belt that is, slowly getting devalued right now. So I don't get it. I just think the bottom line is, I don't care. Swerve in Our Glory, I don't think is going to win. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be FTR, and I think it's going to be the Acclaimed. But I don't know how you, again, I don't know how you deny FTR those titles, especially when their whole thing is they are the belt hunters and they are the ones going around the world to defend titles and to put themselves out there. Just it doesn't make any sense for it not to be them.
We also have Riho versus Jamie Hayter, Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara, and a promo by MJF.
Yeah, you ran through that. We got a promo with MJF. They need to do something where there's some tension between MJF and Jon Moxley, and that's what people want to tune into. Instead of having matches that, again, it's great to have them on there. People want to tune in and have some sort of drama between those two. That's your tension.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live. The show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Why is YouTube getting me? What is he talking about? What are these? Hey, listen, we got to talk about Raw. What are you doing over there?
What?
What are you doing back there? Pay attention, dude. You want to do the Raw report?
No.
Why? Did you watch it?
Yeah. But it wasn't very good. Let's be honest here. It was not a good show. It was very labor-intensive to get through at times.
It was much worse last week.
Do you disagree? It
Yeah,
was much worse
last week.
Very.
You
know what?
I didn't almost fall asleep one time this week.
Convoy's right. I hate to say it, Brian. Convoy's right. I know he's right there. He's right now jumping up and down. He's pointing his finger at you. And I think he may actually be correct, because here we are back to stupid comedy again. You got Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows out there. Doc Gallows, both of them putting ice on their cojones. Come on. The only thing I should have remembered from Doc Gallows last night. The only thing. See, anytime you think something is, it doesn't bother you at all of a sudden it becomes, well, it's mid-card or it's the Good Brothers. What do you expect? People say that to you. You continue to freak out.
Bro, hold on a second. Did you watch, what were those shows that the Good Brothers and Rocky did? I probably should know because Rocky's coming on the show today.
Oh, my God.
What were those things? It's the Good Brothers. They did comedy involving putting ice on their testicles after someone kicked them in the nuts. That is what sent you over the edge.
That didn't send me over the edge. Again,
Talking Shopomania. That's right.
Yes. Didn't you make an appearance on one of those?
I think I did, actually.
What a good brother you
I don't
are,
remember.
brother.
Yeah. This person says it was the worst show ever. Hey, listen. I can't force anybody to do anything. It's one of the problems I've encountered in life. But, man, I'd like to make all of you go back 6 months and let's just start watching 6 months old Raws again and then get back to me. I'd like to make everybody go back and watch October and November NXT 2.0 and then get back to me. Nobody's going to do it.
Oh, God.
But this show is noticeably better. It's still just a show.
Why should they do that, Brian? No one says NXT's improved anyway. You're the only guy who wants to watch it, and everybody makes fun of you for it.
That's true. That is true.
That is a lie.
And even DJ was like, you know what? They did bring Nikki Cross back to just being her old gimmick again. They did take the superhero costume off of her and the stupid mask. And now she's her old character. That is better than when she was almost a superhero.
Well, that's
when she was Nikki ASH, which was the stupidest name since.
Silver lining in that dark cloud last night with her coming back to being crazy-ass Nikki Cross, which she should be.
Hey,
we
listen.
Need sanity, Nikki, is what we need.
It opened up with the usual deal, a long promo leading to a long match. But you know what? It was a good match. You gonna tell me Finn Balor and Carl Anderson wasn't good? And let me tell you, the end of this show, the end of this match was flat out great. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't like it, do your own show. So
Brian likes to be manhandled by women.
Dominic, who, by the way,
does like to be manhandled by women.
Remember when Dominic was going to turn heel and everybody was like, oh, just get rid of the guy. Like, it's not going to help. There's nothing you can do with Dominic. Bro, he's miles better as a heel. He's miles better as a guy who thinks he's better than Eddie Guerrero. And, man, that guy gets heat. This guy jumps up on the apron, and then AJ Styles yanks him off. Damian Priest wipes out AJ Styles. Gallows wipes out Damian Priest. And then Rhea Ripley shoves this giant Luke Gallows into the post. And he stumbles his way back. And she gave this dude the most legit, held him up there, body slam on the floor you ever seen. Like, this was her moment. And that was awesome. So then, of course, Dom distracts the ref. Rhea gives the low blow to Anderson. Balor crawls on top, gets the pin. Dude, I don't want to hear this wasn't good, because this was really good. It was awesome.
The body slam was awesome. The
rest
of it was all right.
Oh, this was good. And this Dom, I like this heel Dominic. I like it.
Are you talking about Dom, or are you talking about Eddie Guerrero?
This Dominic should go back.
The new Eddie Guerrero.
Why haven't they gone back and noted that Dominic is the son of Eddie Guerrero? I don't care what they did in storyline. They had that storyline for a while. If there's one thing that could make his dad want to fight him, It's him telling him, you're not even my dad. Eddie was my dad. You're just some guy that adopted me or something.
Oh, man.
Something like that. They need to go along with, and there's even fans in the crowd holding up the Eddie is your father sign. Like, fans remember this storyline from 15, 20 years ago or whatever.
I don't know. He may get a lot more mileage out of, let's see what happens. He keeps dragging Eddie Guerrero's name in the mud by saying that he's better than him. Let's see how much he can get for that first.
We had a long Miz Gargano segment where Gargano still wants Miz to reveal the truth. Miz says, I don't even know what the truth is. The actual truth comes out.
Some weird Ohio thing going on here.
Truth in his hometown beats the Miz, which never would have happened with Vince. Not that it really matters that much. But long story short, Gargano has told Miz, if he doesn't tell the truth about Dexter Lumis next week, he's going to tell the truth. We had a segment where Damage Control beat up Candice LeRae. And Gargano was so concerned that he actually does a talking segment later and then a match. That was bizarre.
Johnny Goodhusband.
We had a segment with Chad Gable and Otis to set up a match with Elias later. Austin Theory beat Ali in 12 minutes with the A-Town down. This was, by the way, 3 straight matches with distraction finishes. And the streak of distraction finishes only ended when Omos beat 4 men in a 1-minute handicap match. That I'm not into this Braun Strowman Omos feud.
No.
But hey, listen, I'm not into it. But they're doing nothing wrong. It's like they got one giant who's killing dudes. They got another giant who's even bigger that's killing dudes. And they're saying if you watch this show, they're going to fight each other. That's pro wrestling, dude. It's way better than the old days of, hey, let's whatever. I actually don't think that Vince would have beaten Omos, but usually his booking philosophy is, let's beat both these guys for 4 straight weeks and then buy the show to see which one of these is less of a loser than the other. At least it's 2 giants killing everybody, and we'll see who the king giant is in Saudi Arabia. Elias beat Chad Gable, 10 minutes. I don't want to hear it. It's a good match. Chad Gable's awesome. Elias did a good job. Interference distracted. It's actually it backfired. It led to Elias getting the win over Chad Gable. Heels beat him up afterwards. Riddle makes a save, so we get a tag match coming out of it, which, unlike in the old days, will be delivered because they actually follow up on stuff now. We had a JBL promo, and then Baron Corbin versus Johnny Gargano went 14 minutes, which was way too long for this match. Whatever you want to say about Corbin, bro, his heat is the most boring thing on the planet. Although I actually did not almost fall asleep during this match because Gargano's very good. And I don't know what they're doing with Gargano, but he's doing the clown gimmick, and he's messing around with JBL's hat. And so JBL beats his ass, and then he gets pinned. And the announcers are like, he brought that all on himself. And as a viewer, he brought that all on himself. This was all his fault, and he was beaten. Not a fan of this, what they're doing with Gargano.
Let me get this straight, too. NXT is single A baseball, or are the Indies and NXT single A baseball?
I thought he said triple A baseball. Dave said single A. It doesn't matter. The point is NXT is the minor leagues. That's what JBL says. Which is funny because Baron Corbin was, in fact, in NXT for quite a while, actually. In fact, he was more over in NXT than he ever was on the main roster. I can tell you that much.
Was that sad? The people making drawings of his sad torso as he was wrestling Bull James at the time?
Then we had the announcement that Lesnar is going to be back next week. And then the main event was Bayley and Bianca Belair. They went 23 minutes. Pretty good match. And at the end, the women outside are trying to interfere. The ref's about to throw them out. And suddenly this body flies off the post and wipes everybody out, including the referee. Turns out it's Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross ends up giving Bianca the spinning neckbreaker. Bayley pins her here in this non-title match. And then Nikki also attacks Bayley afterwards. So I don't think it's politically correct in 2022 to call a person crazy, but she's doing the crazy gimmick. She's no longer a superhero in training or whatever, or almost a superhero. She is Nikki Cross, Wild Lady, and it looks like we're going to have a three-way for the title, which I'm fine with, by the way, since we had the one-on-one match in a stip match with a finish. So if Bayley's going to get another shot, may as well be a three-way. And then you have the added intrigue, if this is intrigue to you. Will Bianca lose the belt without being beaten? I guess we'll find out. But I thought the show was fine. I would not say that it was a great show, but it had a great thing on the show. It had some good matches on the show. The storylines all make sense. They're slow building a lot of stuff. And it was good, I thought.
Did it fire you up to watch Riyadh, Saudi Arabia's Crown Jewel coming your way?
Bro, I've never been excited to watch Crown Jewel, and no one ever has. So, they could announce that, they've cloned Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and they're going to have another match in Saudi Arabia. I still don't want to watch.
I don't know.
Show.
We saw the first Shawn Michaels have his last one there, and that was enough.
Dude, he was the best guy in that match by miles.
And that says a lot. That was sad.
Back in a moment with Rocky Romero.
Have you written a book?
Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. And there's Rocky. What's going on over there? Can you hear me? Rocky can't hear me. What do we got here? We suddenly can't hear him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
This was just working fine 1 second ago,
It
literally
was.
seconds ago.
Yes. Let's try him again. Let's try this again, everybody.
As Brian's doing that, Rocky's here to talk about plenty of things, including the Rumble on 44th Street shows coming up at the Palladium in New York City, coming up on Friday and Thursday and Friday, October 27th and 28th. The show on the 27th is the Night Before Rumble on 44th Street Halloween special. So cheering aloud at both of those shows. Finally, that's actually coming back more regularly into play in Japan, and I do want to ask him about that over there because it's still not widespread yet, but hopefully when he gets back on the line here, we're going to be able to talk about all those sorts of things, as I'm sure the camera's now going to cut back to Brian, who's sweating a little bit.
Well, no, I don't. I never sweat. You ever watch this show? Reconnecting, it says, there is a poor network connection. That's certainly not a good sign now, is it? Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. It's me. Everything was going fine until I just completely tuned you out in the first segment, and it's pretty much been downhill from there. So I apologize. I also apologize to everybody watching yesterday who I apparently gave nightmares to because you saw my hair. So I, without product at that, so I apologize.
Product? What product do you put in your hair?
Oh, man, I got this cotton. It smells like cotton candy and vanilla. It's the best stuff.
All right, hold on. Hey, Rocky.
Fantastic.
Yo.
There we go. That was so bizarre. Like, we were talking during the break, and then the moment we went live, all of a sudden, no one could hear anybody.
That was so weird. That was so weird.
Well, here we are. Do you realize, as I was getting ready to connect, that you have not been on the show in 8 months?
Damn.
I saw that. February 11th.
What the heck's been going on, dude?
What hasn't? I mean, I've been everywhere and all over the world and all over the place, and AEW, Impact.
You have. Once you started getting on that AEW show on national TV, it was like, I ain't coming on this guy's show anymore.
Big
Pretty
time.
much.
Yeah, I've been a big time this guy. Actually, you know what, though? I just watched, now I can put you over again because you're on the show. I just watched you and Shingo on Strong, and that was great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of that one. I've never wrestled Shingo in a singles match, and I was really, really happy with, what came out of it. And obviously, I mean, Shingo's like top talent when you talk about it, a wrestler in New Japan, and to be able to mix it up with him and show that Rocky's still got a little left in the tank,
I also was listening to those fans doing a Chico chant, and it really took me back. It was, I got to say, too, I was watching that match, and, this is no disrespect, but when you see the New Japan Strong lineup and it says Shingo versus Rocky Romero, the first thing you think is not, oh, man, Rocky's going to get a big win over Shingo. Your presumption is that Shingo's probably going to get the win, but you never know. Mm-hmm. And I bring that up because you guys did that match, and I forget what the spot was. You did some counter. And, man, this crowd, all of a sudden, every single one of them thought, Rocky Romero is beating Shingo right in front of my eyes, and they went crazy. And then, man, he kicked out, and then he finished you off. But I was very impressed with that near fall, because that's what you're looking for in a match like that. You want to convince them, oh, my God, the thing I didn't expect to happen is actually going to happen here.
Right, 100%. And, the King of Sneaky Style is probably going to win by roll-up or some kind of, smart, intelligent, sly way. And I think the one that you're talking about was when I hit him with that Ron out of nowhere.
Yes.
And, why not? Why not? So, yeah, that completely changed the complexion of the match, and kind of maybe Rocky can pull it out, and he might get, a little victory here. And maybe we could see him challenging for the KOPW championship. I mean, you never know. You never know.
That KOPW trophy, I got to be honest, Rock, I have never been a big fan of it, even when Yano had it, but it made a lot more sense there. But I'll go ahead and take any of my personal feelings towards that trophy and some of the stips and put it to the side and say that Shingo and El Phantasmo together, when you throw some of the craziness out, and even when you include the craziness in the matches, they seem great together. They seem like a fantastic fit, and LP is only going to get better and increase his standing in New Japan as it goes along, as long as he continues to improve. What have you thought about those guys? Because it's been one of the quiet, sneaky things this year in all of pro wrestling that's actually really led to some great matches and some great interaction.
I think El Phantasmo is completely underrated. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he's an a-hole, but he's a super talented wrestler. He's a great character. And I think, his trajectory is going to be huge in the long run. I think he's going to be a major player for New Japan. And to let him be in there with, Shingo Takagi, who's obviously fantastic himself. But I love that you got like some fun, ha-ha kind of, sandwiched, like the sandwich is like the meat of it is great wrestling, but, the buns or the outside of it is like this ha-ha fun comical stuff that is kind of surrounded by KOPW. I mean, KOPW is supposed to, kind of be an insane kind of championship where, anything goes, and it can kind of make the playing field a little level depending on who's in there, and depending on the whatever the match may be,
I was at the that New Japan, New Beginning USA. I'm trying to remember who Phantasmo faced on that show. But
Matt Raywald, I remember.
That's right, Matt Raywald. And they go out there and, ELP is just the best heel. And they went out there and he was the greatest babyface in that match.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the impression I got was like, they went out there and I got the impression they weren't sure who was going to be cheered and booed. And so they kind of just went with, whatever the crowd gave them. And what the crowd gave them was, they loved Phantasmo. But, man, I just watched that and I thought, this guy is so good. Like, some people watch him and they see the shortcuts and everything like that. And, they know he's like a really good worker. But what a fantastic babyface this guy is. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think he had a great line of like something like, Seattle is an S-hole.
Yes.
But it's my S-hole or something
yes.
to that degree. And he got a huge pop.
That's awesome. What turned him. They were like, this guy's our guy now. This guy's our guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of, this coming weekend, we have got a show on Fight TV the night. Actually, there's the Rumble on 44th Street, and then the night before, there's the night before the Rumble on 44th Street. And speaking of Phantasmo, he will be facing Shingo, as noted, for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling title in a New York street fight. So that'll be exciting. And you and Yo will be facing Yujiro and Sho in a tag team match, which should be a lot of fun. And we've got Shota Umino, Homicide, our own Filthy Tom Lawler, Royce Isaacs, Jarrell Nelson, Fred Rosser. Aussie Open's on the show. Aussie Open and the Motor City Machine Guns is on the show. And Okada and Eddie Kingston versus Jay White and Juice Robinson. These sound like some fun matches.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun night of wrestling. There's a lot of story built in, if you're a fan of Strong, you've been watching Strong, there's a lot of, storylines that are all tying up into this. And, we've got a heck of a lineup. We've got, wrestlers from Impact, AEW, New Japan, Stardom as well. We're still waiting on some announcements for what the Stardom matches are going to be like. But I know there's big announcements coming all the way until Friday. But the night before, Thursday night, is a Halloween special. It's a mystery card, almost like a mystery vortex type of card. So I know there's some big names already announced for that. Some people who will be on Friday, but there's also going to be a bunch of special guests and special matches. So, get the bundle on Fight. It's going to be worth it. It's like $29, and you get 2 great nights of wrestling.
Now, how does a mystery vortex style work in the sense of we don't know what's going to be on the show? But do you, for example, have the entire lineup for the show already? Or is it going to be a deal where, you got a few matches, but once everybody shows up, it's kind of like, well, we didn't advertise anything, so what looks like it's going to be fun tonight?
You versus you. You versus you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just let everyone just go crazy.
I feel like, let's go with that route because it sounds more fun. So, let's say that everybody will show up on Thursday and then, somebody will pick somebody out of a hat and let's make it happen.
Well, they always did that worked Battle Bowl. Remember Battle Bowl? And I always thought, listen, the matches can be worked and everything like that, but why don't you do like a shoot Battle Bowl where you literally put everyone's name in a hat and you actually have everyone, pick a name out to make all of the teams. So instead of like trying to work it, where, the Steiners just happen to be, paired together and this and that. It's like, let's do a real Battle Bowl. And, wrestlers are creative. If you put Filthy and Phantasmo together, if they randomly got put together, it's like, I'm sure they could come up with some fun act for that night. So that's always been my dream.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Phantasmo and Tom in anything would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Shenanigans right there.
So why is it, do I get the feeling here you're trying to weasel your way into one of these situations?
No, I'm retired.
On one of these cards where you can magically
Ryan's
show
trying
up.
to get booked.
So deeply retired here after that last match with Tom. But this is a Halloween theme. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, and maybe you can just say no comment, but, I mean, is everyone going to wear costumes here?
I mean, we got an email that we were encouraged to wear costumes if we'd like. So yeah, I feel like some people are definitely going to be wearing costumes. Anybody who does come to the actual show, New Japan is giving a free gift away to people dressed in costumes. I know tickets are still available for Thursday night at Ticketmaster. Friday is all sold out. So I mean, yeah, come on down to the Palladium in Times Square.
In Times Square,
wear a costume.
In Times Square. You're running Times Square.
Yeah.
At the Palladium. That's incredible.
Yeah, Halloween weekend. And it's also my birthday on the 28th. I'm going to be 40 years old. Let's celebrate.
Really? It's going to be your birthday?
Yeah.
God, it's so much younger than you, Chico.
Yeah, well, of course he's younger than me. Pretty much everybody is.
That's true.
Well, hey, I watched, like I said, I watched that Shingo match. And, what's 40 feel like? You didn't look 40.
I felt 40 in that one.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst, isn't it?
But the thing is like me and Shingo are the same age, but I think everybody thinks that I'm just like way older than Shingo. So, I felt 40, but I was like, man, I've got to keep up with Shingo, like that's what's just going through my mind. And that's like my motivation in any kind of those big matches with big opponents. It's like, you're only 40. You better do this, Don't let this guy outshine you.
I did that tag with Filthy, and man, I managed to pull everything off, but I did feel very, very 47 in that match, and I was like, God, this whole getting old thing sucks. Like, what?
Yeah,
man, you got a ways to go though.
I've been doing infrared sauna lately, and that's kind of been helping me not feel 40. I feel like I've been trying to do 30 minutes every day. And
what's an infrared sauna?
Helps.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like it's a sauna that instead of heats you up like with steam or whatever, or like hot coals, it's like an electronic infrared.
Like shoots lasers at you?
I guess, yeah. It heats you up from the inside, they say.
Wow, I've seen it.
But yeah, I feel way more flexible. I feel great. Yeah,
really.
Like
There's a tanning place that has a red light tanning bed, which is not ultraviolet rays, but it's like red light. That kind of sounds like this sauna deal.
Yeah, could be.
All right, well, hey, stand by. We'll plug more after the break. Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Rocky Romero has returned. We're going to try to make this a monthly segment here. But we do have two big shows coming up this weekend, October 27th and 28th. New York City, the Palladium in Times Square, the night before the Rumble on 44th Street, followed by the Rumble on 44th Street. So lots of big matches, and man, I'm honestly more excited for the night before because the idea of a mystery show and like a bunch of wacky matches and
Tom dressed as Julia would be amazing.
Yeah, Tom dressed as it's not a bad idea actually.
Is that what's going on?
I don't know. He don't tell me anything. Like that's the problem. I don't know if it's a problem, but so tell us about this Fight.tv.
Yeah, Fight.tv. There's a bundle pack, $29, gets you 2 nights of wrestling. Already been announced for both nights. Obviously, Okada, Eddie Kingston, Jay White. I think on the night before, Mascara Dorada is announced. I mean, on Friday night, you got ELP versus Shingo Takagi. Wheeler Yuta is going to be there on Friday night. I mean, 2 nights of great action. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm excited for the Thursday night Halloween show as well. And there's going to be a lot of great surprises. Oh, on Friday, don't forget, Clark Connors versus Minoru Suzuki. Clark Connors coming back from a major injury. And he calls out the king of professional wrestling in Minoru Suzuki. And supposedly he's got a big surprise that's going to be there for that, I guess, or something. He was talking about it the other day. So I'm excited to see what he's got up his sleeve. Excellent.
Well, yeah, we are out of time, everybody, but we'll be talking about it over the next couple of days as well. Maybe we'll try and get Clark on the show if we can make it happen. But coming up this weekend, October 27th and 28th, Fight.tv, New Japan. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you again after a while.